Breathe, Maya, just breathe, I whispered to myself as I stared at my reflection. The white dress looked perfect, but something about the mirror felt wrong, like it was lying. Ready, sweetheart? Mom peeked in, her voice flat, her smile too tight. I think so, I said, forcing a laugh. You don't look happy, Mom. I'm just emotional, she said, adjusting my veil. Ava's outside with the flowers. Everything's beautiful. Everything's beautiful. Her words echoed like a cruel joke. The door opened. Ava walked in, all dressed in pale pink, glowing like she owned the room. You look amazing, Maya, she said, stepping close. Her perfume was the same one I'd once picked for her birthday. You think so? I smiled, searching her face for something real. Of course, she said. Her eyes didn't match her words. Liam's waiting at the altar. He looks nervous. Nervous? I laughed softly. He should be. She smirked, then brushed my cheek. Don't mess up your makeup. You cry too easily, I blinked. Why would I cry? It's my wedding day? Just saying, she said, glancing at her phone before slipping out. When the door shut, my chest tightened. Something about her tone, it wasn't teasing. It was warning. 5 minutes, Miss Walker. The planner called through the door. I took one last look in the mirror. You've waited your whole life for this, I told myself. Don't ruin it now. I walked toward the exit, but the hallway was too quiet. I could hear faint laughter behind a half-open door. I recognized it, his laugh. Liam's, my heart skipped. Maybe he was joking with the groomsmen. Still, something drew me closer. Liam, Eva whispered, and my world stopped. I froze. My fingers tightened around my bouquet. You shouldn't be here, he murmured, voice low and desperate. I had to see you, she said. She's marrying you in minutes and I can't stand it. Ava, please. His breath hitched. Don't start now. Then tell me you don't love me, she snapped. Silence. The kind of silence that kills you from the inside out. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. The sound that followed, her quiet sob, his hand brushing her arm, was enough. My bouquet slipped from my hand. Roses scattered across the carpet. I stepped back, covering my mouth. My chest ached so hard I thought I'd collapse. Eva's voice trembled. After the wedding, will you still come to me? Eva, answer me, he sighed. You know I can't stay away from you. The words cut through me like glass. I stumbled into the corridor, pressing against the wall, gasping for air. My phone buzzed. A message from my maid of honor, Eva. Ready to walk? I wanted to scream. Instead, I typed, go to hell. Then deleted it. Maya? Someone called. The planner? They're waiting. My throat closed. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. I ran. Down the hallway, past the guests, past the lights, until the cold air outside hit my skin. My heels clicked against the pavement as I reached the parking lot. My hands shook. My heart pounded so loud I couldn't hear the world. I leaned against a car, gripping the metal. He was mine, I whispered. She was my sister. My phone rang again. Liam. I stared at his name flashing on the screen. I didn't answer. When I finally looked up, I saw the hotel lights glowing behind me, and I realized I wasn't crying anymore. I was empty. Miss, are you all right? A man's voice came from somewhere nearby. I turned and saw a stranger holding a bottle of water. He had kind eyes, but I couldn't speak. He stepped closer. You look like you're about to faint. I'm fine, I said, though my knees were shaking. It's just a long day. Yeah, he said quietly. Long days usually start with lies. I stared at him, startled. What did you say? Nothing, he said, handing me the water. You should sit. I can't, I murmured. I was supposed to get married today. He looked toward the glowing ballroom. Supposed to? I nodded. My fiancé married my sister instead. He didn't look surprised, just sad. Then maybe you weren't the one who lost something. For the first time that night, I felt my lips tremble, not from grief, but from the strange comfort of his words. When I finally sat down on the curb, I looked at the man again. He didn't ask my name. He just stayed, and as the sound of wedding music drifted through the night, I whispered, Everything's beautiful, right? He shook his head softly. Not tonight. I closed my eyes, the veil slipping from my hair. For the first time, I let the silence hold me. I didn't remember how far I ran. The parking lot lights blurred, and the music from the ballroom faded behind me. My veil tore somewhere along the way. I dropped it without looking back. "Miss, you need to sit," a voice said. I turned. Him again. The man from earlier. His face looked calm, too calm for the chaos around me. "I'm fine," I lied. "Just tired." "You're shaking," he said, reaching for my arm. "You're not fine." "Don't touch me," I said quickly, then sighed. "I'm sorry. You don't have to explain," he said softly. "Just breathe." I laughed bitterly. "Breathing doesn't fix betrayal." His eyes flickered. "No, but it keeps you alive long enough to deal with it." I stared at him. "Who are you?" "Noah," he said. "And you?" "Maya," I whispered. "Today was supposed to be my wedding day." He looked toward the hotel. "Supposed to?" I nodded, voice trembling. "He married my sister instead." Noah didn't flinch. "That's cruel? Cruel?" I gave a short laugh. "Cruel is walking in on them before walking down the aisle." He hesitated. "You saw?" "Every second," I said. "And my mother," she smiled through it like it was normal. Noah's jaw tightened. "People like that don't deserve your silence. What good would noise do?" I muttered. "They're inside celebrating while I'm here ruining my makeup in a parking lot." He handed me a tissue. "Then maybe you should stop crying for them." I took it, wiping my face. "You talk like someone who's been through this." He shrugged. "Everyone's been betrayed by someone. It's just a matter of who and when." The words hit harder than I expected. Yeah, I guess my who was my own blood. The cold air stung my skin. I sat on the curb. My phone buzzed again, Liam calling. I threw it to the ground. "Aren't you going to answer?" Noah asked. "No. He already said everything that matters. With her." He nodded quietly. "Then let it ring." I pressed my palms against my eyes. "God, I feel so stupid." "You loved him," he said. "That's not stupid." "I trusted her more than him," I whispered. "I thought Eva loved me enough not to do this." "People love themselves more," he said. "That's the problem." I looked up at him. "Why are you even here?" "You don't know me." He leaned against a car. "Because I saw someone trying to disappear, and I've been that person." I swallowed hard. "And did disappearing work?" "No," he said. "But starting over did." The words stayed in my mind long after he walked me to his car. "Hospital's nearby," he said when I hesitated. "You fainted once already." "I'm fine," I insisted. He raised a brow. "You sure?" "Because you look like someone one breath away from breaking." I didn't argue. When he opened the door, I slid in, silent. The drive was quiet except for the sound of rain hitting the windshield. My thoughts screamed louder than any thunder. At the hospital, a nurse asked, "What happened?" I laughed weakly. "I got left at my own wedding." The nurse looked startled. Oh my God. "Don't," I said. "I've had enough pity for one night." After she left, Noah stood by the doorway. "You can stay here until you feel steady," he said. "I can't stay," I whispered. "People will know." "Let them," he said. "They already broke you once. You don't owe them your silence, too." I turned away. "If I speak, they'll twist it. My mother's already posting like it was planned." His eyebrows furrowed. "Posting?" I opened my phone. Photos flooded my feed. Eva in her white dress, Liam's arm around her, my family smiling like this was fate. The caption read, "So proud of my daughters, my throat burned." She called it love. "It's a circus." Noah looked at the screen. "You should screenshot everything. Someday truth will need proof." "Why?" "What's the point?" He smiled faintly. "Because healing isn't always quiet. Sometimes it starts with a story." I stared at the glowing images, my name erased from what should have been my day. I thought of deleting everything, vanishing, but something in his tone stopped me. "Maybe you're right," I said softly. "Maybe silence helps them sleep." "And noise wakes them up," he replied. I leaned back on the bed, clutching my phone. "Then maybe it's time they lose some sleep." He smiled, just enough for me to notice. "That's the spirit." For the first time since the hall, I felt something different. Still pain, but mixed with spark. Not revenge. Just survival. I woke up to the smell of antiseptic and the hum of fluorescent lights. My throat was dry and my head ached. "You're awake," a calm voice said beside me. I turned. Noah sat in a chair, coffee in hand, dark circles under his eyes. "You again," I whispered. "Me again," he said. You fainted last night. Scared the nurse half to death. I didn't ask to be rescued, I muttered. He shrugged. Didn't do it for thanks. You looked like someone who needed a pause. A pause? I scoffed. I needed a new life. He smiled faintly. One step at a time. You still remember how to breathe? I sighed. You're annoyingly calm. Occupational habit. What occupation? Savior of collapsing brides? Architect, he said. Buildings fall too, you know. I just rebuild them. Something about that made me laugh. Soft, broken laughter. Well, I'm no building. No, he said, leaning forward. You're something that still stands, even after the foundation cracked. His words sank in deeper than I wanted. Don't talk like you know me. I don't. But I know that look, wanting to disappear and still hoping someone notices. I looked away. You talk like you've been there. He didn't answer right away. Maybe I have. The silence stretched between us. Machines beeped softly. My pulse matched their rhythm, so what now? I asked. Do I thank you and vanish? You could, he said. Or you could let someone help for once. I don't need help. Then what do you need? I stared at my hands. To stop feeling like everything was my fault. It wasn't. How would you know? Because betrayal says more about them than it ever will about you. I swallowed hard. You make it sound simple. It's not, he said. But it's possible. A nurse came in, checked my vitals, smiled politely, then left. I exhaled. So what, you're just hanging around waiting for me to heal? No, he said. I'm here because I don't like leaving things unfinished. I smirked. So I'm your project now? If that's what gets you out of bed, sure. I'm serious, I said. Why are you helping me? He leaned back, eyes steady. Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it. Guess I'm just paying it forward. His tone was too honest to argue with. I looked at the food tray by my bed. You brought this too? He nodded. Hospital food's tragic. You needed something edible. I poked at the sandwich. You don't know my preferences? Right, he said, half smiling. Guess I'll learn. I rolled my eyes. Persistent, aren't you? I'm patient, he corrected. For a moment, I just watched him. He didn't look like someone who fixed lives. More like someone trying to remember how to fix his own. When the nurse came back with discharge papers, I hesitated. I can't go home, I said quietly. Then don't, Noah replied. There's a small apartment near my place. It's empty. You can stay there till you figure things out. I blinked. You're offering me a place to stay? You barely know me, he smiled. You don't strike me as dangerous. Maybe I'm pretending. Then we'll find out, he said calmly. I studied him. You're either the kindest man I've ever met, or the stupidest. Can't I be both? Something in his grin disarmed me. I sighed. Fine, 1 week. No promises. Deal. As he helped me out of bed, I asked, why do you care, really? He looked at me for a long time before saying, because sometimes being broken is the start of something real. His words stayed with me all the way to the car. Maybe he was right. Maybe this was the start of something real, just not the kind I'd expected. I wasn't planning to look them up again. I told myself I was done. But that night, the silence in my tiny apartment got too loud and curiosity won. I typed Liam Gray, Eva Walker wedding into the search bar. My hands shook. Their faces appeared instantly. Perfect smiles, perfect poses, perfect lies. Golden couple of the year, one headline said. Another read, Love conquers all. CEO weds sweetheart in lavish ceremony. Sweetheart. I laughed under my breath. Sweetheart, my ass. From across the room, Noah's voice broke the quiet. You're doom scrolling again, aren't you? I didn't look up. Just browsing through my mistakes. He closed his laptop and walked over. You really want to feed yourself poison tonight? Poison's fine, I said. I'm immune by now, he sighed. You're not. That's why you're shaking. I turned the screen toward him. Look at them. The world loves them. Noah glanced once, then looked away. The world also loves liars when they're rich and pretty. Guess that makes me the ugly truth, I muttered. He didn't laugh. You shouldn't give them this power. Then what should I do? Pretend they never existed? Pretend they don't matter, he said. I scoffed. Easy for you to say. He leaned against the table. You think I've never been betrayed? I looked up. By who? He hesitated. Someone I trusted too much. Difference is, I stopped checking if they were happy without me. I studied his face. He never said much about his past, but something in his eyes told me he wasn't lying. My phone buzzed. A notification popped up. An online news alert. Breaking. Gray Enterprises under federal investigation for financial fraud. I froze. Wait, what? Noah came closer. What happened? I clicked it. The headline expanded, photos of Liam's company flashing on screen. Anonymous whistleblower exposes internal corruption. CEO under review. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Then slowly I smiled. What's that look? Noah asked. Karma, I whispered. She finally remembered my address. Noah frowned. You think this will fix what they did to you? No, I said, scrolling through the article. But it's a start. He crossed his arms. Don't celebrate someone else's destruction. That's not healing. I glanced up at him. You sound like a preacher. I sound like someone who's seen revenge eat people alive. I'm not planning revenge, I said, even though the smirk on my lips betrayed me. I'm just enjoying the universe doing its job. You think the universe needs your help? Maybe it does. Maybe it's slow. He shook his head. You're better than them, am I? I asked quietly. Because right now I want to see them burn. His voice softened. That's pain talking. I turned back to the screen. Then pain's finally useful. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The glow from the monitor lit up the room. I saw Liam's name trending, people tearing apart the same man who once swore forever to me. It felt satisfying. Ugly, but satisfying. Noah finally said, What happens when the fire dies out? What's left? I looked at him. Maybe peace. Peace doesn't come from watching others fall, he said. It comes from standing up again. Standing up is hard when you've been pushed off the edge, I murmured. Then I'll pull you up, he said. But not if you're looking down. Something about the way he said it, steady, patient, made my throat tighten. I closed the laptop. Fine, no more searching. Promise? I hesitated. Half a promise, he smiled faintly. I'll take it. I lay back on the couch, staring at the ceiling. Noah, yeah? What if karma's not done yet? He chuckled quietly. Then you better hope she's on your side. I smiled into the dark. For the first time in months, the ache in my chest didn't feel like drowning. It felt like breathing fire. When Eva texted we need to talk, I almost laughed. Months of silence, and suddenly she wanted a conversation? I stared at the message for a long time before replying, Fine, 1 hour. Public place. The cafe I chose was small, quiet, and far from the city center. When I walked in, she was already there, perfect as always. Designer coat, diamond earrings, flawless hair. She looked like the woman everyone envied online. I almost didn't recognize the sister who used to steal my clothes in high school. She smiled when she saw me. You look different. I said, sitting down. Being betrayed does that to a person. She winced. Maya, I didn't come here to fight. Then why did you come? I just wanted to talk. She stirred her coffee too fast, the spoon clinking against the cup. You've been ignoring Mom's calls. Maybe because she congratulated you instead of checking if I was still breathing. Eva sighed. Mom didn't know what to do. None of us did? None of you? I leaned forward. You mean you didn't? Her lips pressed together. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. Oh, I asked. Was there a version where you didn't sleep with my fiancé before the wedding? Her eyes flicked up sharp for a second. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic? I laughed quietly. You married him the same night I was supposed to. I loved him, she said suddenly. You never understood that. I froze. You loved him? You loved stealing what wasn't yours? She didn't answer. The silence stretched between us like a crack in glass. Finally, she said, Liam still talks about you sometimes. My heart twisted before my brain caught up. Don't, I said. Don't you dare. He says he regrets the way things happened, she continued. He misses how simple it used to be. Simple? I scoffed. Simple like lying to me for months? She looked away. You don't get it. He's under pressure. The company... I read the news. I cut in. His company's under investigation. Karma's doing better than I ever could. Her eyes flashed. You think this is funny? No, I said calmly. It's justice, she leaned forward, voice trembling. You think I'm not suffering too? You think this life is perfect? I stared at her. That's what your photos say. Perfect dress. Perfect husband. Perfect lie. Her hand shook as she reached for her cup. That's when I saw it. Faint purple bruises along her wrist. I frowned. What happened to your arm? She froze. Nothing. I bumped into something. Eva. My voice softened without my permission. Did he do that? Her eyes darted to mine, then away. It's not what you think. Really? Because I've seen that look before, on women who defend the men who break them. Her lips trembled. You don't know what he's like when he's angry. The pity that rose in me felt wrong. I didn't want to care. She had stolen my future, my peace. But seeing her like that, fragile, scared, made the hate blur for a moment. You could leave him, I said quietly. Start over, she laughed bitterly. With what? Mom's respect. The media already hates us. I'm stuck. No one's ever really stuck, I said. You just choose the walls you live behind. She looked at me, something between anger and envy in her eyes. You think you're free just because you walked away? I am, I said. And that scares you. She slammed her cup down. You think you're better than me? I think I learned when to stop destroying myself for people who wouldn't do the same, I replied. Her shoulders slumped. For a second, she looked like the girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she whispered. I stood up. You never mean it until it hurts. She reached out, grabbing my wrist. Maya, please. I pulled away. Don't. You already took enough from me. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I looked at her one last time. No, you're not. You're just afraid karma finally picked a side. I walked toward the door, ignoring the sound of her quiet sobs behind me. The wind hit my face as I stepped outside, sharp and cold. For a brief second, I almost turned back. But then I remembered the look in her eyes the night of my wedding. Smug, victorious, cruel. And just like that, pity turned to steel again. It started with a whisper, an old document I wasn't supposed to see. Noah found me at the kitchen table surrounded by papers. You've been at this for hours, he said. What are you looking for? My father's company records, I muttered. Liam merged them before the wedding. Something never added up. He leaned closer. You think he used your father's assets? I don't think, I said. I know. I held up the file. He forged the signatures. Mine included, Noah frowned. That's fraud, Maya. I met his eyes. Exactly. He crossed his arms. So what's your plan? Call the police? No, I said. I'm going to ruin him the same way he ruined me, publicly. Noah hesitated. You sure you want to go down that road? I've already been down worse. He sat beside me. Then let's do it right, quietly. That night we worked side by side, two shadows against the glow of laptop screens. Every document, every transfer, every signature was another thread in the web Liam had spun. God, he was sloppy, I said, scrolling through bank records. Arrogance always leaves fingerprints, Noah replied. I smirked. Guess he forgot I know how to read fine print. Noah gave me a sideways glance. You're scaring me a little. Good, I said. That means I'm doing something right. By midnight, I had everything. Proof of embezzlement, false reports, money wired through shell accounts. I stared at the evidence, heart pounding. It's enough. Enough to bury him, Noah said. I hesitated. Then why doesn't it feel good? Because you still care, he said simply. I laughed bitterly. No, I just care about winning. He didn't argue. He just placed a flash drive on the table. Send it to someone who can't be bought. I looked at him. You trust me with that? I trust you to decide what kind of ending you want. The next morning, I emailed the files to a reporter who once wrote about Liam and Eva's wedding. Her reply came fast. We'll verify and publish. Thank you for your courage. Courage, I muttered. Funny word for revenge. When the story went live 2 days later, it spread like wildfire. Golden couple under fire, fraud and lies behind the glamour. The same outlet that once called them a fairy tale now labeled them the fraud couple. Noah found me staring at the screen, speechless. You did it, he said quietly. I didn't smile. It doesn't feel real. He pulled up another article. It's real. His investors are pulling out. The company's collapsing. I whispered. He's finally losing everything. Congratulations, Noah said. Don't, I said. It's not over, he tilted his head. What's left? Ava, I said. She'll try to spin it. Make herself the victim again. Let her, he said. You've already won. I looked out the window. Winning doesn't feel the way I thought it would. That night, we sat on the rooftop, the city lights flickering like broken stars below. Noah handed me a coffee. You're quiet. Too much noise in my head, I said. Everyone's talking about them. Comment sections are tearing them apart. Liam's face is everywhere. You wanted justice, he said. You got it. Yeah, I whispered. But justice feels cold, he studied me. What did you expect? I don't know. Relief, maybe, peace. Instead, I feel empty. He sipped his drink. That's because revenge doesn't heal. It just ends things. I looked at him sharply. Then what's the point? The point, he said softly, is you're not the one being dragged through the mud anymore. You're free, I shook my head. I don't know how to be free. I've lived too long waiting for karma to move. He smiled faintly. Then stop waiting. Start building. Building what? Whatever comes next, he said. I laughed quietly. You always have an answer, don't you? Only when you stop listening to yourself. The wind brushed my hair across my face. I tucked it behind my ear and asked, do you ever think about what you'd do if someone destroyed your life? I'd probably burn their empire, he said. I smirked. Hypocrite, maybe, he said. But I'd still hate how it felt afterward. I leaned back against the wall. You're right. It's not satisfaction, it's survival. He looked at me. And survival is enough for tonight. For a long while, we sat in silence, the city humming beneath us. My phone buzzed. Messages from unknown numbers, reporters asking for statements, friends pretending to care. I turned it off. I don't want noise, I said. Just quiet. You've earned it, Noah murmured. I stared at the skyline. You did this, he said suddenly. I looked at him. What? You took your life back. His words hit deeper than I expected. I let out a shaky breath. Then why does it still hurt? Because endings always do, he said. The wind carried our silence across the rooftop. The city below shimmered like ashes glowing in the dark. Revenge tasted sharp, but not sweet. It was raining when she showed up. I almost didn't open the door. But the pounding wouldn't stop. When I finally pulled it open, Eva stood there, mascara running, hair soaked, trembling. She didn't look like the sister I remembered. She looked shattered. Maya, she whispered. Please, can I come in? I hesitated. Why? Because I have nowhere else to go. For a long moment, I just stared. Where's Liam? Her lips quivered. Gone, he left me. I stepped aside slowly. Then I guess karma doesn't skip. She flinched, but walked in. I deserve that. You deserve more, I said flatly. But we'll start there. She sat on the couch, hugging herself. I didn't know where else to go. Mom won't answer my calls. Maybe she finally ran out of excuses for you. Maya, please, she said, her voice breaking. I'm not here to fight. Then what are you here for? Her eyes filled again. Forgiveness. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Everything's gone. The company, the house. He sold everything before disappearing. Our friends vanished too. Everyone's talking about me like I'm trash. I crossed my arms. You built that image yourself. I know, she said quietly. I thought I was happy. I thought... He loved me, I let out a bitter laugh. He didn't love me either. That's the only thing we still share. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. You must hate me. I did, I said honestly. Every day. Every breath. I wanted you to suffer. Well, she said, voice trembling, you got your wish. Silence filled the room, thick and heavy. The sound of rain against the window felt louder than our breathing. I finally asked, What happened to you, Eva? You used to be better than this. She stared at the floor. Jealousy. Stupid, ugly jealousy. You always had what I wanted. Dad's pride, Liam's heart, everyone's attention. I thought if I took something from you, I'd finally be enough. And were you? She shook her head slowly. No, I was never enough. Not for him. Not for anyone. I studied her face. For once, there was no smugness, no arrogance. Just a woman who had destroyed her own reflection. Do you know what it felt like? I said quietly. Watching you walk down the aisle in my dress? Tears spilled down her cheeks. Every day since then, I've seen your face in the mirror instead of mine. Good, I said. Maybe now you understand what you took. She looked up. I'm sorry, Maya. I mean it this time. I can't undo it, but I need you to forgive me. Forgiveness isn't a reset button, I said. It's release. For me, not for you. She reached out, voice desperate. Then please, release me too. I stepped back. That's not mine to give. Please, she begged. I've lost everything. You lost yourself long before that, I said softly. You just didn't notice until it was too late? Her sobs broke the quiet again. I don't know who I am anymore. You're the girl who thought stealing love would fill the hole inside her, I said. Now you have to decide if you'll keep digging or start climbing. She wiped her face. And you? What are you now? I smiled faintly. Free, her voice cracked. Do you still hate me? I shook my head. No, hate takes too much energy. I'm tired of carrying your mistakes. She stood slowly. Then, do you forgive me? I took a deep breath. The words came easier than I expected. I forgive you, I whispered. Her shoulders shook as she cried harder. But, I added, I won't save you. Her eyes widened. Maya, I opened the door. The rain poured harder now. You'll have to save yourself, Eva. She hesitated, then stepped out into the storm. Thank you, she whispered before the wind swallowed her voice. I closed the door behind her, leaning against it, my chest rising with something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not from revenge. From release. The cemetery was quiet that morning, just the sound of wind brushing through the trees. I stood in front of my father's grave, the cold seeping through my shoes. The stone looked smaller than I remembered, but maybe it was just me who had grown. Hey, Dad, I said softly. I know it's been a while. My voice cracked, and I laughed under my breath. You'd probably scold me for showing up late. I used to hate these visits, but now... I think I get it. You were right about everything. People show you who they are, even when you don't want to believe them. The crunch of gravel behind me made me turn. Noah walked up slowly, hands in his pockets, eyes gentle. You sure you're okay being here alone? He asked. I'm not alone, I said, nodding toward the headstone. I'm talking to someone who always listened better than most living people. He smiled faintly. That sounds like him. You never met him. I didn't have to, Noah said. You talk about him like he's still your compass. I looked back at the grave. He is. I lost my direction for a while, but I think I finally found the road again. Noah moved beside me, close enough that I could feel his warmth even in the cold air. You've come a long way, Maya. I exhaled slowly. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes I still wake up angry. That's normal, he said. You don't just erase pain. You outgrow it, I smiled faintly. You always know what to say. Only because I've said it to myself 100 times, he replied. You just make it sound less lonely. I brushed some leaves off the grave. Eva called last week, I said quietly. Noah glanced at me. What did she want? To say she's leaving the country. A new job, new city, new start. Are you okay with that? I think so, I said. She sounded different. Tired but sincere. Maybe she finally learned something from all of this. And Liam? I chuckled softly. Bankrupt. Alone. The last article I saw said he filed for debt protection. He deserves the silence he gave me. Noah nodded. Karma finishes her work quietly. I looked at him. And you? What about your karma? He shrugged. Still waiting for her to find me, I smiled. Maybe she already did. He raised a brow. You think I'm your karma? I think you're proof that not everyone comes into your life to break you. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The world around us seemed still, no sound but the wind and my heartbeat. I knelt by the grave. Dad, I'm okay now, I whispered. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not broken, I'm me again. When I stood, Noah's eyes met mine. You mean that? I do, I said. For the first time, I'm not surviving. I'm living, he smiled softly. That's all I ever wanted to hear, I laughed. You sound like you've been waiting for me to say that. He looked down, hands in his pockets. Maybe I have. The silence between us felt different now. Not heavy, not painful. Just quiet, safe. I took a deep breath. You know what's funny? I used to think you were the man who saved me. He tilted his head. And now? Now I know you weren't, I said. You were the man who stayed while I saved myself. His expression softened, something unreadable in his eyes. I'll take that title. You earned it, I said. He reached out, hesitating for a moment before taking my hand. So, he said, what now? I smiled. Now we start over. He squeezed my hand gently. Ready? I looked at the horizon, the sun breaking through the clouds. Yes, I whispered. This time, for me. We stood there a while longer, watching the light spread over the graves, the city in the distance, the world moving on. For the first time, I didn't feel the urge to chase the past or punish it. I just wanted to live. As we walked away, Noah said, Do you think your father would be proud? I smiled, feeling the warmth of sunlight touch my face. I think he already is, and maybe he was. Because for the first time since that ruined wedding, I didn't feel like the woman who lost everything. I felt like the woman who finally found herself.